Owain, let's take a look at the Mercedes because, Mercedes have, we joke about Red Bull looking quite similar. I think over the last couple of seasons, Mercedes have taken that approach as well of evolution, not revolution. But, this is basically last year's car with some not Adidas stripes on the side because they're not Adidas, they are AMG.
Yeah, it's a bit weird to be honest with you that they've not sort of integrated Adidas whatsoever, bearing in mind how sort of deep the branding seems to go. But maybe they're just leaving that for the team kit, and that's all. Obviously, that's a hugely iconic brand, and it does not need any help, advertising itself. I think, yeah, Mercedes has always generally been about sort of evolution of delivery. It's not even since sort of 2010, it's not really changed that much. It's iterated obviously year over year, but the biggest changes have come as they've gone all black in 2020 and then back to silver in 2022 and then back to black because they needed it for the weight in 2023. But after that I didn't think that the liveries looked particularly good. I think maybe the 2022 cars, they either needed a very complex livery or a sort of block color thing, and sort of didn't really work with what Mercedes tried to do or has tried to do, sorry, for the last couple of years. And I don't think that that's a particularly good livery on those cars. Translate it to these, and it looks, it looks good again. There's something about just separating out the front wing and moving it slightly further away from the nose that has meant that that big hit of silver sort of, I think it just looks little bit better. It sort of pops a little bit more against the black. Obviously, you kind of hamstrung with Mercedes because you have to get in the silver somehow. Black's got to be in there another way, and then you've got the Petronas green running all the way through. But generally, I don't think this is a bad livery whatsoever. I think it looks really, really good on the shapes of the car that they've decided to go with. I think that the sort of integration of the AMG stripes. It looks good. I think so. I saw someone online saying it looks like there's probably a technical name for it that I don't know, but the sort of feathers on the back of an arrow. So when you look at the car from above, it really does look like a sort of a silver arrow or a dart. It really, the flights, Ruby's now telling me. Hopefully it doesn't take flight. There's other Mercedes that's happened with in endurance racing. I got it
You
in
just
there.
got to get
There
it
it
in there.
is. You're setting it right up for me. It's too easy. It's
New
too
Year,
easy.
same old Owain Medford. Honestly, never go changing.
Would I ever? But no, it looks really good. You're making it too easy, just like the job for the Mercedes livery designer. But it looks so good. Hopefully, it's as quick on track, and they have found another 11 million horsepower or something with a compression ratio change or whatever that everyone's getting up in arms about. Yep, it's not, the season hasn't even started, and we've got people protesting technical regulations, but for the time being, it looks very Mercedes this, and it looks like a great car, and hopefully it performs well for them.
It is certainly very F1 to be at this stage of the year, which is January, and we're having technical protests. And before we talk about the next team, George, Mercedes have stolen a sponsor from the team we're about to talk about, which is Microsoft, and of course it's now replacing the Ineos on the airbox. But